To be honest, I'm really proud to pass by F&B and housekeeping because on guest relation as a telephonist, you deal with angry people that probably they lost something on the bar, and then with all my experience that I have in the back, I know how it's working F&B. I know how it's working housekeeping. I'm start like as a snack attendant, right, or a steward or a
Yeah,
ice cream girl,
I wanted to
whatever.
go to that part of your story. So you started as a snack attendant, but then, well, the last time that I talked to you, you were already a concierge, captain's club, right?
Captain's Club, yeah.
Captain club, which is like a higher position in a different department entirely. So I wanted you to tell us like your story, but not like I want to show our like viewers decide on how did you decided, like how did you decided to, like, because this is kind of like a tough way to go when you're in ships, change departments and stuff, change like from a crew position to a staff position is tough because people will
And
start talking.
and as well, remember that in our times, like the
Mm-hmm.
oldest ones, we have really they
The
were
structure, the
so
structure.
class that I mean they classify the people. In the past, we don't share the common areas. There was an area for the officers, there was an area for the crew, there was an area for the staff. The crew we were the
The
lower
bottom
position.
tier. Yes. So
Like, do you
just
remember just an idea like in Titanic,
Titanic.
kind of?
Yes, I was going to say the same, like
Titanic,
Titanic, like the
Titanic,
bottom rooms.
exactly, exactly. We were us because we
Uh-huh.
were like the crew. We were the ones who, they don't really care too much. I mean, they care, but like we didn't have that opportunity to get that different. We have a specific meal, but the officers they have like
Like
another options, more higher quality. And
it was
was
very
like at the beginning,
classified. Like you can see the
exactly.
difference between crew member staff, like crew staff and officers. So when you jump
And
from
some of
one
them are
position to the other,
exactly was really hard because everybody,
challenging.
it's like a small town. Everybody was talking like, how you get the position, like in here, like in land.
Like in any job.
But like in any job, yeah. So I remember that I was a snack attendant,
Mhm.
and once the captain came over, I didn't know was the captain. I thought this guy is so arrogant, like I really hate him. But I didn't know it was the captain, and he came to ask for ice cream. And I told him that the machine was not working. He said, "Huh?" And, he was a Greek, and it was my first time in experience. I never deal with Greeks, so he's like, "You don't have ice cream."
Mhm.
And I was like, fuck? I mean, you are a crew member. I mean, you are like employee. I mean, I didn't know it was like the captain. Sure, captain, you know. And I thought, oh my god, this guy is so arrogant. And then I make a face. I give an attitude to him because he gave me an attitude. So I was like, it was already late. I was already 9 o'clock, and I'm supposed to close at 9:30 or something like that. So obviously the vanilla ice cream was already gone. And I told him, I'm sorry, I don't have it. I can offer you another thing. And he said, I just want a vanilla ice cream and you don't have. Well, and he, with this attitude, like, just give
Uh-huh.
me chocolate. And I gave him the chocolate and I give the ice cream. And he mentioned that he wants some syrup on the top. And I told him, I'm sorry, but
There's no
at the
zero.
moment, it's gone. Show me the container. And I was like, fuck, man, man, I told you that I don't have it. So I was so upset, and I showed the container, and I put it on the top. I slammed the thing, and I told him, "It's not chocolate in there, right?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I can see. Give me a spoon." So he he gave me the spoon. I was like, "What? What? What he think that he is like
Oh,
come
he
on.
took the container with the spoon to like.
Yeah, he took the spoon and he put the spoon
That's
inside the
very
container
rude.
and he's crushed, like the chocolate remains in the container to put it on his ice cream. And he said, "Oh, what's your name?" To like this, what's your name? And I was mad. And after, after days, he told, I know, after that night, I closed my stuff. I closed the ice cream area. And I remember Cynthia from Mexico. Oh, the captain was there. What happened? I was, who?
Who?
The captain. I remember that I'm apologized outside the
You
catching pen
went
in
cold.
Alaska. Yeah, I thought I'm gonna get warning. And then he was sitting, outside. But I found him so arrogant, and I feel so upset. And it was the end
Which
of my day.
is normal sometimes with like captains or staff captains. Sometimes it
Yeah.
happens.
And then plus you have a lot of things because you are crew, because you have your trainings, and it was the beginning of my contract. So it was a funny story. Anyway, coming back, I was on F&B, right? Ice cream girl. But I told myself, I can give more. I can do more. I I know I can do more for myself. I don't deserve to be cleaning, like I like it, but I deserve more. And I always passing by or see the officers with the stripes, and I said, I told myself, that little voice in your head, like, one day I will arrive there. And I always
One day I
tell
will have
myself,
my stripes.
one day I will have my stripes, even one, but I don't care. One day I will have my stripes. So my first contract, I want to be honest, I want to resign. I didn't like it. Um, I want to give up, but of course, I own some money to do my paperwork, my visas, my medicals. So I need to pay that money, right? So I talked with myself and I said, okay, I will finish this contract and I'm not coming back. But as many people, I
Which is a
found the
story of
love.
a lot.
Yeah, I found the love for
Yeah.
me and I fall in love and I decided to come back a second time. And then, um, you know, I I focused to reach my second goal on the ships. One was, to finish my contract. I met this guy, and this guy supported me a lot. And he as well, he was one of the ones who told me, "Paul, yeah, you deserve more." And I was like, "Yeah, I want to reach guest relations. I want to become like a receptionist." So he told me, "I will support you."
Nice.
FMB, I didn't like it, to be honest. Um, for some circumstance, I decided to change department and I moved to housekeeping. I was
Wow.
so lucky. Yeah, I know. I
Wow.
was so lucky because at that moment, for the situation, well, I moved to housekeeping. I was happy in housekeeping. It was sometimes, I feel so bad because I was in the public area, so I was in charge of sometimes toilets, sometimes public areas like bars or
So
casino.
what position was that? Did you like move to
Uh,
public area attendant or like celebrity cleaner?
it's supposed to be celebrity cleaner, but celebrity cleaners, we were in public area, and then you
Mhm.
have a crew. No, um, well, they divide you. Like there is
Career,
people who's in the public area, there is people in the crew area, and there is people on the staff area who is in charge of
the officer's
all
cabin.
officers, the officers' cabins. So the HR, I remember HR was so mad with me because she told me, oh, you came here as a snack attendant and you're gonna finish as a snack attendant. But I got sick. I got to the medical, so the medical suggests to change to different department. So I bring my paper and I told the situation. So she finally found me and arranged an interview with the housekeeping manager,
Hmm.
chief housekeeper, and they got me. Then I moved. I
Nice.
didn't know. Yeah, it was a nice experience. I am clean person, but to be honest, I didn't know how to clean glasses. Nothing. They teach me
It's
everything.
so
I
different.
remember my supervisor was amazing. and he was from India, and I always remember him. He was a really nice guy. He told me, Paulina, come here. And I was like, what happened? I come with my bucket and my racket and my rack. And he
Mm-hmm.
told me, Paul, you see, this glass is not clean. Do you know how to clean glasses? And I was like, no. Come here, I will show you. He was super nice, even if he has stripes and supervisor and senior chief housekeeper, he had the time to show me how to clean glasses, you know, and he was so humble. There was one of my best managers ever. These 8 years, one of the best. So I we sometimes we have these team buildings, and I told him, like one day I want to reach guest relations, and he told me, "Pau, you should try. I think you can do it." So this is another advice, and in this story there is another advice, guys. Try to socialize. This kind of life, you need to be really social. You need to
Mm-hmm.
sell yourself. You need to be humble as well, because I know you can find nice and bad people on board, like everywhere, but you need to be humble. You need to help each other, because at the end of the day, all of us, we arrive alone there. And if you have or give hard time each other, this is not the way. If the people are bad with you, just, I'm not gonna tell you I forget because it's hard, but just continue with your things, and you just help if they need help to do it, because at the end of the day, whatever you could, I believe in karma, right? And whatever you do good, everything is coming back to you at one point.
Exactly.
Probably with a different person, probably in a different situation, but that is always back to you.
I have
On
a
the ship,
friend. I have a friend that says that everything that moves left at once will move right at another point.
exactly. Yeah, so I always try to be, like, to be honest, I never work in public areas. I have another kind of experience, but for me to be in housekeeping teach me a lot, At one point I was training new people,
Nice.
just the same, just as a cleaner, as a public area. But I was my boss, he was giving me that confidence, and that he he was confident that I can't train another ones, because he trusted me. So that's why I'm saying you must sell yourself well with that people on board. If you want to reach one position on board, it's not gonna be easy, but it's not gonna
Mhm.
be impossible. There's gonna be a lot of people, they tell you that you don't have the personality, or you don't have the skills, or you don't have
The
the color of the
language.
hair, or the language, or whatever, because there is a lot of people who gonna give you, you know to gonna push you down, and some people, they will trust in you. So with these people trusting you, if you have people who trust in you, with that you can do many things. So he helped me a lot to move, because I'm not good selling myself at that moment. I was so shy, so shy. I don't know if you remember, I was so shy.
Yeah, no, I know, but I think a lot of us, like, I remember I was like super shy before chefs, like the gig guy, like in the corner of the classroom. And after the shift, right?
Ta-da! Look at him.
Surprise.
See, so yeah, I remember that I'm still with that in mind. I want to become an receptionist. So my boyfriend at that moment, he helped me a lot. It was tough because you need to prove yourself.
Hmm.
And another thing is, like, if you are in the same ship, it's good, because most of the people that you are work with
They will
remains
come back
there
with
or is still there for 2 or 3 contracts. But if you are moving ships, it's a little bit harder, because you need to prove yourself again with new people, and can be tough, and can be like, at one point you are tired to show yourself all the
you.
time, to be
Exactly.
honest. But don't give up. Like me, I was lucky that my two contracts were on in. No, my first contract was on Millennium. The second one was on Infinity, and the third one was on Infinity. And I got finally the promotion as a junior guest relations. But before I tell you that story, I will tell you how I get there. As I said, it's not easy. You need to finish one contract with your current job,
Yes, any
and
position.
after that, you can apply. Some of the ships, so in my ship at that time, you must finish the contract. But my latest years, they have this mode that you can do 6 months or something like that, and you can apply after 6 months on board. It depends of the ship. It depends of the new rules
Position,
that the company has, and the
relations,
positions
yes.
as well. So as the job I want is in different department, so I must to work harder, right? Because you need to do trainings. The position that I wanted, because I cannot jump from the cleaner to receptionist. So first I need to go to the first level in guest relations, which was junior guest relations.
Mm-hmm.
Junior guest relations meaning is a telephonist, right? We handle room service at that moment. We handle um, um, guest upset. We handle maintenance. We handle information called from outside, calls, internal calls, information from weather, everything, you know. So
So
you
let's
must
say
to
it's
be
like the call
multitask. You
center of
must
the
to
ship.
know
So you handle
exactly.
all
And it was
guest
not easy
services.
because exactly because for us it was like room service was a big thing. You must to know about what is a club sandwich, what is included
Mm-hmm.
food,
Food
um
allergies and like
exactly a lot
all
of
of these
things,
things. Yes.
gluten free and all these things that you must learn, and you have seconds to find out on the internet and or ask your colleagues or stuff like that. And plus, paperwork that you need to do. You must be multitask. So it was a training for me. It depends of the person. In my experience, it took me 4 months and a half. Some
Okay.
people they do it in 6 months. Some people they do it in 3 months. Some people they do it in 1 month. It depends of you, how much you invest, and how easy you get the things done, right?
Of
How
course.
you get stuff.
Yeah. How fast
Uh,
you get the like the operation and you actually manage
exactly,
the operation like a regular like crew member in that position does, right?
exactly. For me, of course, it's not the same to work in land that to work on the ship.
Mhm.
It's completely different. So for me, I have, I need to do the training. I need to pass the interview with HR, with the manager of the department. Plus, I need to do an interview with the head office in Miami, with the manager in Miami. That is by phone, but it's like a lot of requires to change and to move forward or to get a promotion in the department. It's worth it, to be honest. There were some days like I didn't have chance to take a nap, to rest, to eat. But at that moment, I was so glad that I have my other half that helped me during that process of the training, right? He was a cook, so he helped me with some food and stuff. And if I don't have the chance to go to pick up my uniform in the laundry,
It
he
will
he
help
was
you.
supporting me a
That's
lot.
nice.
So there was like a girl. I will tell you one of the bad stories. There was a girl well, a lady, because she was
A
older
grown.
than me, and a grandma. I don't know what's wrong with her, but I was dating a guy from her country, so she was always asking me about him. I try to, probably she was jealous, or I don't know, but I remember one day she told me, "You don't know anything." During the training, for me that day was like, it was so painful, that the thing that she told me, like, I don't know anything. Because she asked me something and I was tired, or something like that. I didn't reply or something, and she told me, "Ah, you don't know anything." I remember I come back to my cabin crying, like I'm saying, fuck,
That's so mean
probably
of
she's
her.
right. Yeah. But, like, I remember I came crying and my boyfriend, he told me, oh, what's going on, Pau? And I was like, she told me this and that. And he said, that is not true, right? And I was like, yeah, I know, but she knows the job. And I say, yeah. And they will always gonna tell you that you cannot do it because they are scared of you, that probably you can reach higher. So I keep in mind that words, and I was like,
And that's a great advice from him.
yeah, I said, I told myself, you don't listen to her. And I continue with my training, and I try to avoid, to be honest, to work with her. When she was there, I tried to avoid to go for training because it was not healthy for me, it was not healthy
For
for
your
my
mind,
for
for
my
your
mind, to be
emotions.
honest.
Yes.
So I'm stop. If she was there at the time that I have time to do training, I try to find somebody else because there was always two people, or I will come back in a different hour. So I like this. I try to manage. I finished my training. I did the interview. I passed the interview, but they told me that I didn't pass. I
Who
was so
told
mad.
you? She told you.
The manager,
Whoa.
she saw me on casino, and she told me that I didn't pass the interview. For me, it was like I was so upset. Not with her. I was upset with myself because it was
You
four
have
months
felt
and a
so
half.
frustrated.
I was 4 months and a half losing. I mean, not losing the time because I learned a lot of things, but 4 months and a half of my time dedicated to something that I didn't complete was so frustrated for me. Anyway, the day
So
passed, and I was.
I just wanna just wanna take a little bit of a moment on this because I think it gets back to several parts of ship life that they are very important that I wouldn't like to miss. And sorry if I interrupt you.
No, no,
So
no. Go
I
ahead.
think there's several things happening there. So it comes back to that emotions and shapes they become multiplied like for hundreds. Everything feels like a little bit more than what it will normally feel when you're on land. It will come to the point where people or like before on ships, crew members will have this crab mind, the crabs. So when a crab tries to reach outside the bucket, the other crabs will pull him down instead of pushing it to success to succeed. But at the end of the day, and as you said before, you have to keep in mind your motivations and what is having you there, and what are you trying to succeed for. Maybe it's your family, maybe it's having a boyfriend on board, or someone who you love there who supports you, or maybe you want to make a lot of money, or like there's always something that can bring you up. And it's really like to admire that you were there, you were trying, you kept trying, you find a way to deal with your struggles, to deal with this lady who was trying to put you down. It's really admirable. Like you didn't just stop there and cried. You actually put
Yeah.
yourself together and moved forward and went for the interview and actually fight for yourself, right?
Yeah, after that, after days, I found David,
Mhm.
the TNU, and he was like, "Hey, Pau, how are you?" And I was like, "Fine," but I was like, "Oh, okay," like I was embarrassed, because I didn't pass the interview. So he told me,
Mm.
"Congratulations," and I was like, "For what?" I mean, like, what? And he said, "You passed the interview," and I was like, "No." The manager, she came to me yesterday and she told me that I didn't pass. And he said, "That is impossible. You are on the list. Let me call her." She never picked up the phone. And then he said, "No, no, no. There is a mistake. Probably she confused." But after that, I realized that she wanted to put a paisano, another guy from the same country, and he got the promotion before me, and he was taking the train after me. However, like at the end of the day, I understand, they have the power and everything. And I was so upset, to be honest, with her, because of the lie, like if she can
Of
tell me,
course,
you passed, at the end of the day, she's one who choose, or one of the persons who choose who gonna get a promotion, right?
of course.
It will be different if she will tell me at that moment. She was telling me, you passed, congratulations. But she didn't. She hid that from me. I knew for another person that I passed the interview. And then at the end of my contract, this guy got the promotion. No, before my contract ends, this guy got the promotion. So I was so mad. And I start to see that for me, that was like something that hurt me a lot, because, they play with your feelings.
Of course.
But anyway, at the end of the day, she was the one who has more power. Anyway, I just leave it, and they told me, one of the advice that I got from my friends, he told me, don't worry, I mean, you will get it. Everything arrives to the correct time. And I was like, okay, the important thing is you are already in the GAPU, which is this waiting list for the ones to reach higher.
So what was your, I don't want to call it like the strategy, but what was your way to cope with these feelings in that moment? Like, how did you keep strong? Like, what did you do, or like what helped you to stay strong?
I was so mad. And for me, it was really hard to. I mean, when I'm sad, you can see it in my face. I don't have a mask. I'm so like this, like open
Crystal
book.
clear.
You know me. When I'm
I
sad,
know.
when I'm depressed, when I'm happy, you will see it in my face. So anytime I saw her, I was so upset with her. She can see in my face that I was so mad. I tried to avoid, and I tried to talk with someone in the department. So they told me, Pau, don't worry. I mean, she's leaving soon because they rotate the managers.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the other manager arrives, will be different. Just take it easy. Don't fight. And I was like, yeah, I cannot fight. I don't have the power enough to fight or to do something. Anyway, the thing is done. So that was one of my first disappointments about the how it's working on the ships.
Mm-hmm.
But you realize, that how to play the game. I didn't play it well, but anyway, it was an experience. After that, finally I got my position. Everything, to be honest, everything arrives to the correct time, because when I got the promotion, I was so happy, and I was more secure about myself. And, you know, it was like this, like, hey, we need someone. Are you ready? And I was like, yes, I'm ready.
Yes, when do I start?
And yeah, I got the promotion. I remember the day I went with my uniform, my 1.5 stripe. And when everybody saw me on the corridor with the uniform, people, they were really happy. Some people, like friends and everything, were like really happy for me, because they saw like I was working so hard for that. And some other people, they were not happy, but they didn't care. I didn't pay attention. I was super proud of myself. Then I started working there on the as a telephonist for 4 years. And then on the department, guest relations, there is different jobs. Is junior guest relation, telephonist is reception, which is guest relation officer. And from there you have assistant guest relations manager. But before those, you have concierge, you have suite manager, and then you had captain's club hostess,
Captain's
which
Club.
is
Mm-hmm.
captain's club hostess. Most of the time was the ladies. The ladies, they were in charge of the memberships on board, and in charge of the VIP guest. Like the memberships on the banks, or on some stores that you have levels.
Mm-hmm.
And like this was like that. And on the ships, they organize dinners with the captain. They organize events with the captains, parties, breakfast. They were like always pretty, and we have the formal nights. They look amazing with the gowns and the amazing dresses. And like I said, there was always a ladies. They will look phenomenal, and they have this personality, bubbling personality, talking with the guests all the time, socializing with everybody. So I fall in love, and I said, I want to do that. When I was as a telephonist, and when I was working there, I told myself, now, I'm always a person who put a goal. I reach one and I make another one and I create another one. So that was my second goal.
But you know
My
that's
my
great
third
because
goal.
that's how it is sometimes when we get on board, and I think that happens to a lot of us, like because we will start in a basic starting position, snack attendant, cook, public area attendant, and you see all these people like they seem so glamorous, like staffs and officers,
Yeah,
and right away you want to jump from being a third cook to maybe a church excursions or a guest relations manager, or like you want to give that jump, but it's very important to know that it's baby steps. So
exactly.
you go for the next achievable goal, and then the next achievable goal, and the next achievable goal until you reach that position when you're already like
Exactly.
the glamorous one, right?
Like, when I was on as a telephonist, I was realizing, I so many people they arrive, you know, to the ships without knowing anything on that position. And for me, it was like a kind of, makes me feel like a little bit bad, like I said, man, there is a lot of really nice guys there that they can do this job, and these guys, they don't know anything. But anyway, you as well, you need to support them to achieve our goals as a team. So that's why I'm saying we need to support each other in a team. This
Exactly.
is a lot of team playing on this environmental, because without your team, you are nothing,
Exactly. And
especially in
even if
guest
they're
relations.
even
Well,
if they're
everywhere
new,
actually, in all
everybody
departments.
has their process. Everybody has their, like, they pass through the same things when you are a new hire. So they did the documents, they did their interviews. So if they are there, it's because of someone in the office saw something on them, and that's why they are there. You know.
And to be honest, I'm really proud to pass by F&B and housekeeping, because on guest relation as a telephonist, you deal with angry people that probably they lost something on the bar, and then with all my experience that I have in the back, I know how it's working F&B. I know how it's working housekeeping. So I know how, because this as a telephonist, you need to think who is the correct person to call to solve a problem. So for me, it was really easy to know these other departments, to understand many things from as a telephonist or in guest relations. So as I said, everything happened for reasons.
Exactly.
For me, it took me probably two contracts to reach my first goal as a reception and guest relation. But I'm not regrets. The all opposite thing. I was so glad to have experience, as you said, in guest relations. I'm sorry, in housekeeping and F&B, because I have more knowledge than the other people.
Of course.
And after that, when I spent 4 years of my life, 4.5, as a telephonist, and then the time came, like when they ask us if we want to reach higher, and these all options like concierge, suite manager, captain's club was open for everybody. So I'm applying. I said, I don't care, I will apply. So they asked me, because on the ship, on the season, there is always one cruise that is really big for captain's club, which we have a lot of members, and there is just one person in charge, so they need an assistant. So they called me to assist the girl. I was just helping her at the desk, doing the paperwork. And then I said, I'm start to be
Realize how it
involved
works.
in
Yes.
how is the job. So I'm start to fall in love again. And then I worked so
That's
hard to
funny.
get it. I wait for approximately 4 years to get the promotion, but at the end, I got it, and I spent almost 2 years doing that job,
Wow.
and I had an amazing ratings, and it's amazing, how the ship life can change your life. Because to be this, like this little girl, like that
On a
arrived
little
lost,
town.
yeah, in a little town, and reached to that position that took with, like, for example, I don't know, the owner of bands, or the millionaires, or to organize something for the captain.
Well,
uh,
you were managing like the memberships. Like these people
exactly.
are like important people.
And on the ship, sometimes, I remember my times there, and I check, the these cruise critics that they have
Mhm.
on the ship. And I remember it because I didn't check too much when I was on board because I didn't have time. But the people ask about me, where is Paulina gonna be? I want to be on the ship. Where is Paulina? All
Cool.
these things that I said, man. And on the parties that I organize, they always introduce the captain and everybody. And when one day, like, I never gonna forget that. One day they told my name and everybody was clapping, and they stand up. I was like, I reach, you know, when you're small and you always dream for it to get, the new toy, and you
Uh-huh.
open the gift and they're even then the Christmas Eve and is there for you. It's just like me, like that. I always dream to reach higher and to be that Captain's Club amazing that everybody wanna know. Not everybody knew, but
That's
but
amazing. Like I have a tear in my eye.
yeah, me too.
That's amazing. Like so happy for you.
Yeah, I still have some of my guests on my Facebook that they want to ask me, Pa, we miss you. It's not the same. Are you coming back? Um, to be honest, I'm not regrets. It was tough. It was not easy. The way that I left was because I got sick, I got depressed, I got anxious because it was, I know it was my fault, part of it, because I'm gonna start just focus just on the job. I start to left myself behind, which I don't recommend. If you really want to, one day if you want to go and rest, do it. If you want to one day you want to go and dance, go to the Latin night or whatever, do it. Just try to enjoy yourself on board. I did many mistakes as well because I'm not everybody's perfect.
No one's an
If
angel. Hmm.
if I can change something, like I said to the guys the other day, I will change the way I manage with my feelings. Because the last 2 years I was struggling a lot with my feelings. And plus, 34, I'm start to questioning about my life, my personal life a lot. And as well, one day I want to get married, probably not now, but one day I want to make a family and have a home. But everything arrives on the correct time. Once again, I'm not regrets at old, but the people I met, the things I did, the jobs I did on board, the opposite. I think it was a huge and big experience of my life. And when I got the promotion, as my job was a social person, like public relations on the ship, the people they always ask you, who you are, no, in the beginning because they don't know you. I remember I told my story to them, and I was listening to myself, and I realized, it was the best choice of my life to reach and to arrive to the ship life than to becoming a flight attendant. To be honest,
Surprise.
because to be honest, because sometimes the life brings you to different or completely different way that you will trying to reach. Like for me, this is a huge step, and like I said, from me like this that nobody knows to be someone who everybody knows. And I
A
was
public
working with
relations
F&B
on a ship.
and working with the captains, and sometimes have a comments on the social media. Like cruise critic that everybody was asking who is Paulina Ugalde, and see your name on these websites and have a comments from your nice job. That is amazing.
It is really like to admire. I'm just so happy to be sharing this conversation with you. But it's very admiring how, like, because I think it happens to a lot of us that sometimes we feel lost in life. Like, I'm really gonna cry
Yeah, me too.
with your story. But sometimes we are so lost in life, and life just gives you this window because you're expecting for the door, but it actually opens the window, right?
Exactly.
And you take the chance, and you took it, and you join a ship, and you started from bottom line, like, actually, and you manage to not just struggle with the language, not just struggle with the diversity that there is on board, not just struggle with a job position that wasn't like a fit for you in that moment. Like, you learned that part, which is a really tough part. You overcame people trying to pull you down. You overcame your emotions. You overcame all of these feelings and things that happen when you're on board, and you actually reach higher. So it's very proud, like, it's something to be proud of. Like, not everybody has the power or the strength to achieve what you achieve. That
Yeah.
is something that, like, I'm so happy to be sharing it with you, and to share with everyone who will be watching this video later. We all have the strength to actually overcome our weaknesses, or like people trying to pull us down. And you have to be very sure of yourself. Sometimes people will try to make you feel like you don't deserve, or like you don't have the knowledge that it's needed for. Don't listen to them.
You know how many people they told me no, or I heard from others that they said that I don't have the personality to do the job, or my English was not good enough, or because I don't know how to dress, or stupid things
All
like
these
that.
little things, yes.
That like I was like, shit, man, they don't even know me. They don't even know how I am, or who I am. Of course, yeah, I can tell you, my English is not like it was not the best one. But if you want to reach a goal, you must to put as well, what you need to, or at least you need to make a list that what do you need to reach that. If you need to improve your English, I remember myself, like I knew I was struggling my first contract, and I feel so stupid sometimes just to smile and say yes to everything that I don't understand.
I
So I
get you.
came on vacations and I started to get a course, English course, and like this to improve my English, and to try to read and to try to write, and everything for me was a huge experience. But I try to be, I try to tell you the positive and the bad things, because I want you to understand that if I can't, everybody can do it. All of us, we have the possibility and the conscience to do whatever we want, right?
Yes.
So no, because somebody tell you that you cannot do it, like you said, don't listen, just focus on your goal, and that's it. Be nice. And other thing, like, helps me a lot on the company, they have a good opportunities. Like, they give me the opportunity to me. It was not easy, but they give me the opportunity to reach different departments and different areas. Now, if you are there already, try to involve in everything.
Hmm.
There is as well the company, they have a really nice programs like care team, that you help and support emotionally to another crew member, or in my case, I was more with the guest. There is experience that you don't change for anything. Like, it was a lady, she was the husband, they have a problem, lungs problems, and we need to disembark them. We were in Portugal, we disembarked for 4 days, and they have the lack of the language. because they don't speak Portuguese. They didn't know that at home, they didn't know that they were struggling with health issues. The lady was with Alzheimer. So they sent me to help them. It was a nice experience. There is a lot of activities on board that you can do, and you can show as well yourself around, and you can feel more proud of yourself, or give a little bit to the ship, to the company, because the company as well, they give you a lot of things to you, like knowledge, or this experience is amazing. Guys, don't if you are there, if you want to go there, try. It's an amazing experience in life.
Thank you very much for those words. And it
Bueno, bueno.
does. And it does. So I think we covered the everything on your experience, and I'm really grateful to be sharing this with you today, and to be sharing this with everyone. Um, what can I say? I think you already mentioned most of it, but when you're there, you're already there. Just really be mindful of your goals and go step by step. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So
Be
uh,
positive.
be positive and just stay positive, and things will happen, but try to go and do like the best you can. And as Paulina said, just do not, like, my opinion is like, never just work and sleep. Like,
Yeah.
get involved in activities, like do something else. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, go and try to talk to somebody. There's always somebody who's going to listen, and sometimes that's all that we need, just to unwind everything that's,
Yeah.
doing that tornado in your head.
Especially when you are far away from home and things happen back home, and you don't really know, like now that with the COVID and stuff, I think all the time my people on the ship, my people, I will say my people,
Our
my
crew.
family there, our crew, that I'm lucky that we here at home now. But I understand sometimes, like I said, I cannot explain how you feel bored. The feelings are different, and as well the lack of the information, because it's not the same. You just hear about news and stuff. So it's tough. We know that it's tough, but you must be positive, because you must be communicated with your family. You don't lose your goal. Never lose it.
Never.
And if you feel down, try to find things that make you feel happy. Try to connect with people that makes you feel happy, because the people that you meet there, these people that they will change your life.
And there's people for everything. So make friends, have a group of friends,
Mm-hmm.
express yourself. It can get tough, but we are tougher.
Yes.
We are
We
tougher.
are really strong people. All people that we were there, as I said before, we are strong. We are really strong.
And
Not
keep in
everybody
mind
reached that.
that, yeah, exactly. And keep in mind that if you make it the first contract, you will make it for the second and the next ones. And when you go
Look
back
at
to
me,
your,
8 years.
yes, 8 years, like, just imagine that. Like, she started as like attendant. She thought the first contract was it. She came back because she was in love. And she did 8 years. 8 years. And when you go back to land, you can beat anything. Like, really, you're like prepared for anything that can happen. Like, even now, the pandemic, I think we were already trained for this. Like,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Hi, Paulina. Well, thank you very much for this time. I really appreciate
Oh,
this
thank you.
conversation, and I hope everybody, like, who's watching this, well, can take something of profit for themselves. And, well, thank you for watching.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.